Hi, this is Pat Ray again, talking about anger management today. We are also talking about anxiety and anger. Okay, so first thing, as always, I need you to get a piece of paper, print your first and last name. I need the date, and I need the type of group, which is anger management. And I need the topic, which is the connection between anger and anxiety. Also, to get full credit, you're going to turn in your progress note. You are also going to answer questions that I ask in the video, and you will write 3 statements, full-bodied statements about what you thought about, what you would like to talk about, anything you thought was significant or important. And then you will either pay by phone at 217-766-9132, or you will pay by bringing the cash to the office in the exact amount. And we will be doing that Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 1. Or you can come in the evening on Monday through Thursday, 5 to 6 p.m., bringing the exact cash. You can also bring your progress notes and homework if you would prefer to do it that way. Otherwise, you can take a picture of it and you can email it, pat@changeisachoice.org, all one word. You can text it, 217-766-9132. So those are some good ones. You can mail it to Pat's, P-A-T-S, 300 South Broadway in Urbana, 61801. So you can contact me with any questions at any of the numbers that I have given you. You can also pay over the phone, I forgot, 217-954-1128. Okay, so for today, we're talking about anxiety. Again, we're going through some different times in our lives. I know that I'm an old lady and I have not seen anything quite like this. I remember my parents talking about what it was like during World War II. My grandmother talked about what it was like when there was a terrific flu epidemic that caused, I don't know, thousands to die back in the 1800s back then. So here we are. We're going through something we haven't gone through before, and fairly reasonable and response would be to feel a bit anxious. It's uncharted waters. We don't know exactly how to handle things without being face to face like we have always been. I mean, I've experienced that. It's been challenging to continue to work with clients and stay in contact with you all because I know it's important and I want to do that, but finding the way to do it has been interesting. Okay, so let's talk a minute about anger, fear, and more anxiety. So you may say to yourself, I don't think I'm anxious. I'm just really irritated right now. People are irritating me. Well, actually, in many cases, anxiety and anger are actually related because anxiety is associated with fear. And some may say, well, it's the opposite of anger. However, what we know right now is when I am fearful, don't know what's happening in the world around me, Or maybe I know too much. I've been watching too much news. So I may have developed some underlying fear, and I may find myself with a short fuse. So let's talk about that. For some people, their anger is a symptom of underlying anxiety, and that anger may actually be directly related to the physiological reaction that occurs when faced with dangerous situations. So, guess what? It's an automatic survival factor that we have. Our body responds automatically. It's an automatic bodily function that has helped us survive, and many, it was instilled in the beginning of man and woman, and therefore is not something that we totally control. So we'll talk more about that in a minute. We know that anger can have many triggers. So anxiety is a result sometimes of anger episodes. You ever do something really dumb and stupid when you were angry, and then you worried, you had fear, oh my God, what have I done? They're going to call the police. I'm going to lose my job. My lover left me, whatever it is. So people may get anxious after the anger. So you may think sometimes, oh, it seems like sometimes I just get angry for no reason. I don't know what's going on here. Well, actually, anger rarely occurs completely for no reason. And usually it may relate to feelings of being overwhelmed, feeling powerless, scared, or threatened. And there can be potential causes, but there are also things we can do to resolve some of these. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about causes of anger, anxiety. Anxiety itself is the emotion caused by the activation of the fight or flight response of the body. Fight or flight. Now, I have talked about fight or flight in the past, and one of the things that is common to humans and other animals also is this automatic response that kicks in to enable people to run for survival, or if they can't run, to stay and fight for survival. It's an automatic response from the nervous system. And when that happens, adrenaline is released from the brain into the bloodstream, and it gears us up. Your heart beats faster. You may even shake from so much adrenaline. You're able to do things that you may not have ever been able to do before. For example, my former father-in-law worked at a junkyard where they took parts off of cars and resold them. One day, his coworker came up missing. So it had been quite a while since he saw him. So he went out to find him. And what he found were two legs sticking out from under a car. He immediately grabbed two jacks, put them under there, and jacked it up with both at the same time, raised the car and pulled the man out. Now, he'd never been able to do anything like that before. He had amazing strength. So that's one example. So adrenaline is released and our body is able to do things that normally we wouldn't be able to do. It gears us up. That's called fight or flight. Well, you may say, I don't have any major big deal to cause that. But again, it's an automatic response. And when the body or the brain deems that there is something to be afraid of and anxiety occurs, then that response may kick in. So when it's activated in the presence of physical danger, the emotion a person feels can be complex, more complex than just fear alone. Okay, there's another piece to this thing. It's called irritation anxiety. It's constant irritation. Now, when a person gets anxious, they will sometimes be easily irritated and annoyed. Believe it or not, I see this quite frequently when I am at the front desk at my office. People come in, they are being forced to be here, they don't know what to expect. They're really kind of anxious about the whole process and about, having to talk. They don't know what they're going to have to do. They don't know what they're going to have to reveal. They may be feeling that they've been being judged, whatever. But it's anxiety. It's the fear and anxiety going on. And they are rude. They are annoyed. And they are easily angered, easily irritated. They are just irritated when they come in. So doing this lesson today was a good reminder for me. I do run into that quite a bit. And I have not always responded as well as I could. So it's a good reminder. People get irritated when they're fearful, when they're anxious. So another thing, loss of control, anger is also a natural response to many when they don't feel they are in control. Anxiety can make people feel as though they are losing control, especially if they were to have any panic attacks or any other pre-existing anxiety disorder. So let's talk just a minute about the feelings of loss of control. Right now, if you have been laid off from work, maybe your business has shut down, maybe you are totally, genuinely fearful of what's going on as far as getting sick, that kind of thing. So that could be a feeling. You have no control over those things, do you? And that can be a feeling then of anger, loss of control, anger. Okay, here's another one. Stuff's already rough, right? Stuff's already difficult. What we need to understand is that it's not anybody else's fault, but sometimes we put the blame onto somebody else. So we call that the desire to pass blame on response. And that comes from anxiety. We're trying to do the best we can, figure things out. And, we feel like sometimes others are making it worse for us. And therefore, we get angry. Okay. So, and in addition, there's one other thing to remember, and we touched on it early on, is that while anger can be a symptom of anxiety, anger can produce anxiety. So when you've said or done something that you wouldn't normally do and you've gotten angry, then a certain fear sets in afterwards and a feeling of anxiety comes over us. Okay, so how do we do this? Number one, anger has to be taken care of. Now, anger is an emotion, a feeling. It comes and goes. It's not good. It's not bad. It just is. All people have anger. It's a common, normal response to many, many, many factors, situations in life. It's normal. Where the problem comes in is when we the way that we present our anger. That's where the problem comes in. When we're hurting ourselves, we're hurting others, we're causing self-destructive behaviors, we're ruining our future. We are lashing out at those who we love, we're losing our job, we're doing whatever because of the way we present our anger. That's the problem. So number one, learning how to manage it. And that's why we're talking about that today. Number two thing then is identifying when you're anxious and learning to control it. So managing anger, managing anxiety. How to control your anger. Okay, so we've talked about this quite a bit in my class. And it's something that I want you to write down on your paper. And it's called Stop and Think. So you write that down, stop and think. This is also on your final worksheet that you will provide and must have correct in order to get your certificate. So stop and think. There are 3 steps. Be quiet, get space, calm down. Stop. Pay attention to your body. How's it feeling? Are you hot? Is your face hot? Are you holding your breath, pushing your chest out? Are your teeth or fists clenched? Are you kind of shaky? Blood pressure goes up. What is it? You have yours. Pay attention to it. That's your early warning sign. Stop. When you feel that, stop. Next one, think. Think ahead. What are my consequences? Going to jail, losing the job, losing my lover, whatever it might be. Stop and think. Do not go to jail. Do not lose the one I love. Do not lose the job. Do not hurt myself or others. Stop and think. Then what do you do? Stop. Pay attention to your body. Think the consequences. Step 1, be quiet. That's really hard for me. I'm going to tell you right now. That's one of the hardest parts of stop and think. I can feel the sensations. I can know what's coming. I can think ahead to the consequence, but shutting my mouth is a big deal. If I can't just be quiet, then I got to kick into step 2, get space. Stop and think, be quiet, get space. That means get away, excuse yourself, go take a shower, get the heck away, put down the phone, turn the phone off. 3, calm down. What does it take to calm down? Many years ago, I had about 40 plus employees. I was just totally discombobulated many days. Felt like I was going nuts many times. So, and that was with the staff, not the clients. When I felt it coming on, they would come in my office, When I felt it coming on, I would say, excuse me. And there was a back door not far from my office. I would go right out that back door. Summer, winter, spring, and fall. I went out that back door. And I walked around. It was a long building. I walk around that building. The first time around, I was just really telling everything I wanted to say. All the way around. On the second loop around, I forced myself into gratitude mode. Yeah. We all have stuff to be grateful for. We're awake this morning. That's a number one. So I forced myself into gratitude mode, and I forced myself to think about those things on the next loop. And then as I started around the third time, I just did breathing and I observed my scenery. And then I went back in the building. I was calm. I could make a better choice. I could use my words better. I could talk to people civilly. And if I wasn't ready to talk about it, I could say, you know what? Let's schedule a time to talk about that. I'm just not ready to talk about it at the moment. Let's see when we can get together and do that. Totally different from my early days responsing of losing it and screaming and cussing people out. Okay, manage your anger. The other thing is that we are going to have to be aware of our anxiety. For some people, it's situational. In other words, that's stuff that's going on right now in the world, and it's different, and we've never experienced it, and we're just not sure what to do with it or what to do about it or how to live at this point. So that's situational, and some of the anger management strategies will help us to calm down. Others of us may have had an underlying anxiety disorder, which is something that goes on all the time. So if you look back in your history and you find out that you've always been short-tempered, that you think or assume people are thinking and saying things or doing things, and later you might find out it's not so, you might want to just go online and check out all the definitions of anxiety and get some information. Now, I'm not saying go to some foo-foo website that just people give their responses and their opinions. I'm not talking about that. Go to some real research sites. Mayo Clinic puts out a good one. So the NAMI, NAMI is another excellent one. So there are some real websites to go to out there. So research, find out what anxiety is, and check yourself out. Okay, today to get credit, I still need all the things that I told you early on: paper, send it in, payment, all of that. When I get everything, I write you down as attended and prepare for your test. The things that I say, I shouldn't say test, that freaks people out, causes anxiety. Your worksheet, your final worksheet will be on number one importance, stop and think. Okay, so pay attention. All right, you have a great day, and I hope that today you are less angry. Bye-bye.